Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for being here for our purchase protection webinar. We're excited to walk you guys through the service, how it works, all the details you want to know. We got some amazing people here from our side on the team. Would love to do a quick introduction of people on our team as we wait for people to funnel in, seeing those numbers increase, which is super awesome. But Macy, why don't you kick us off, introduce yourself, and why don't you start there?
Awesome. I'm Macy. I've been with the company for quite a while, and I am on our marketing team and just love being able to be a part of these webinars.
Awesome. Let's go, Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm a CSM on the Fox team. Excited to answer any questions you guys have.
Very good. Let's go, Philip.
Hi there, my name is Philip. I'm also on the CSM team. I've been with the company 4 years tomorrow, and also excited to be here and to answer any questions you guys have as we go along.
Awesome. Maddie, go for it.
Hey, I'm Maddie. I'm on the solutions team here at Webconnex, and I'm really excited for this webinar today.
Awesome. Last but not least, Tristan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tristan. I've been with the company about 4 years, and I work with our purchase protection team and guide our team through our process of approval and review of claims.
Very good. Awesome. And I'm Eric, and founder of Webconnex, also founder of the purchase protection service here. This came through a great story to help our customers be able to keep more money for their event. And so we're excited to walk you guys through the presentation here. So I'll share my screen and we'll get started, but we want to be mindful of everybody's time here. And thank you guys for taking time on this awesome Friday. All right, team, give me a little thumbs up if you can see my screen. So this is our time to walk you guys through the purchase protection service in detail here so you guys can understand it. And we believe it is one of the most successful features we've developed for event organizers to help them keep more money. And what we've also learned in the process is that this is really popular for attendees and guests. And as you go along, the people you just met, they are in the chat. So if you want to toss in a question to them, they will answer questions for you live during the Zoom. It will also take some time, and I can answer some questions at the very end, but we would welcome your feedback. Throw some jokes in there, say hello, be yourself. We would love to hear you guys. So we'll get started now. So what is purchase protection? Purchase protection is an optional service for your attendees that they can add on to their event purchase for a small one-time fee. And for that fee, they will get a full refund of all their event dues should they be prohibited from attending your event. And my attorney in my ear, who's not really my ear, but I can hear his voice, is saying, please review the terms and conditions because there's some fine print there. We'll cover all that stuff here. Really important for you to know. The most important thing for this webinar for you to know is that purchase protection costs you absolutely zero, and you pay absolutely zero for the refunds that are issued. Purchase protection covers them, not you. Win-win. So it's free for you to offer. Your attendees are going to love it. And then any refunds that are paid out from us. Again, little fine print here. This does not cover if the event is entirely canceled. But if the event is entirely canceled, we will refund our fee back to them too. So it's super fair. So if you decide, hey, our event can't happen for some given reason, we will refund our fee to any attendees in that situation. So we don't cover things like Fire Festival, which is one of our little jokes in our terms of service. And we don't cover if you are operating kind of a fraud business itself, which you've got bigger problems if you are doing that. So little notes there. All right, why do we create purchase protection? So we are the platform that offers Red Podium, Fox, Ticket Spice. Those who really know us really well also know we make a charitable fundraising tool called Giving Fuel. But we created this purchase for one particular reason, as we saw an incredible number, and I'm going to put it on the screen here, is that $63 million has been paid out in refunds for our events back to attendees. And these are usually due to attendee refunds and cancellations. So in the past 2+ years or so, $63 million paid out back to attendees. That is a staggering number. And that's just our platform. This is not the general industry. This is just on our platform, what events are giving back to attendees each year. And largely, they are preventable because they're many times associated with unforeseen circumstances from the attendees. And so most events, they're going to continue on. There are some events get entirely canceled, but by and large, the large amount of refunds that happen back to attendees is for circumstances that happen to the attendees and they contact the event organizer. Now, a common kind of a downside for this for an event producer is to say, well, they have a no refund policy, yet the majority of events are fearful of a no refund policy for one precise reason, and that is chargebacks. The credit card laws are stacked against the event organizers. When an attendee is unhappy for any given reason, doesn't matter what your policy is, the credit card companies instantly give back the attendee their full amount. They also charge you a fee, and they leave it up to you to dispute it and to fight it. And we are all busy. It is a very big effort. And so, and we're going to talk about chargebacks at the very end of the presentation here, but chargebacks from this also is a $2.5 million loss that comes from these attendees. And so this is a very big deal. And a lot of attendees will charge back to the event because they could not attend, they were unhappy, they asked for something, they did not get it. And so combine these two numbers, it's a really big total, a really large loss for event producers who are having to issue unnecessary refunds. And if they don't, they're also going to suffer enormous losses from chargebacks. Again, this is just our platform. So meanwhile, what's also happened, there's been an explosion of services in popularity that service these cancellations, interruptions, and overall protection services. A recent stat shows that 50% of Americans have purchased some sort of protection service, citing the desire to avoid financial loss. And they cite that these services help them make a buying decision. So now, while we offer this embedded into our platform, it's important to know that if you are going to offer it, you are in company with the smartest, biggest e-com brands on the planet. Just take a look at the logos on the right-hand side here. The leading e-commerce brands, organizations in the world are offering some sort of protection service. And we see it everywhere. And so this spans all the different kinds of categories you can imagine. So we're mostly probably familiar with like travel and hotel, that trip interruption or cancellation coverage. We're also familiar with auto warranty. If you rent a car, if you buy a car, there's all sorts of protection services there. There are sports protection services that will reimburse you for deductibles of your insurance. If you've ever used PayPal or Venmo, you've seen options there. E-commerce, they are seeing this all over Shopify and other e-commerce brands for exchanges and returns and no questions asked returns for an extra fee. Credit cards, My American Express, Your Chase credit card, Southwest Airlines, they all offer these protection services. Recently, if you've bought a package online, there are now shipping protection services against stolen or lost packages. There's price protections for packages. Airbnb has damage theft, modifications, electronics, Apple Care, right? You have all these things. There's identity theft. And now what's happened is that live events has not had a compelling, great service. So live events is a little bit late to the party, which is why we developed this, is that we see so many attendees used to these in other spheres and other categories of their buying life that helps them build confidence to make a purchase and to really have peace of mind as they make a large purchase. So it's a fantastic service. The patterns for the consumer market today really has surfaced these kind of protection services. And this is us responding to the massive loss in refunds that we believe are largely necessary, massive chargebacks, and also the growing consumer demand and consumer utilization for services like this. And ultimately, it is a win-win for everybody. Here's what you can expect for companies. This is why these companies offer it, and this is why they're so quick to enable it, is one, you get higher conversion rates because you have that higher peace of mind and higher consumer confidence from the buyer. You also, by its very nature, are going to have fewer refunds. When people feel like they have a an outlet to, if they're concerned, if maybe they have a family member that is going under some health issues, maybe they are prone to illness, they feel more confident with buying these add-ons because they will not suffer financial loss if something unforeseen happens. Overall, for event producers, it's increased net revenue and also higher margins. We all on this call know that events can be really hard to make money. There's a lot of expense. You are making huge amounts of risks to hopefully win and attract your audience, to host it, to make sure it all goes well. This is the easiest thing you can ever do to protect your revenue and also increase your margins. It also is shown to reduce chargebacks. We'll show you some cool stats on that. You also have less customer support. You might not need to staff somebody that's fielding these inquiries. And also the upset customers. If you have a no refund policy and you say, I'm so sorry, we have a no refund policy, what do? They go give you a 1-star review on all the review places that you like. So all of this results into happier customers. They have an option if they want, if they're concerned, and then you are completely protected from all of that downside. From the consumers, again, the consumers expect these kinds of services. They're seeing it everywhere, and they're wildly popular because it helps build that buying confidence. They want that peace of mind, somebody who is not thinking about the risk and thinking about, oh, what if? That helps them ultimately buy. They are nearly eliminating that risk of financial loss. They have a direct channel that can handle these kinds of refunds. They have a refund that's sent to them in a check should they have a circumstance that comes upon them. And overall, they have increased satisfaction. So what's brilliant about this too for the event as well is that we'll cover how the workflow works, is that if someone is prohibited from attending your event, we as purchase protection, we refund them their money, including their fees, and we return that spot taken from them back into your inventory, and we do that for you. So in essence, you get to resell the same ticket or registration twice. And this is really awesome for sold out events or really popular events because that is all additional money straight to the bottom line. So a fantastic side both for you as the company, because we want to help you save as much money as possible, which has always been our mission. We want you to have higher net revenue, higher margins, but we also want you to have happy customers. And a happy customer has increased buying confidence, is a buying customer that is going to give you their money faster because they have completely absolved their concerns for whatever anxieties or fears they might have about the unexpected happening. To date, we have, as purchase protection, paid out $2 million. And it is a fantastic, and we are super proud of this because this means that $2 million did not come from hardworking events like you guys. So this comes out of our pockets, not yours. And over the years, we've also seen the chargeback losses get decreased by 66%. And we'll talk about another service we're layering in that helps that. But ultimately, when people feel like if you have a no refund policy, but there's an available option for them to utilize, should they be concerned about a circumstance that might come to them, that reduces the refunds that you are obligated to pay. That also helps them understand that if I'm concerned about a circumstance or I might need a refund, I've got a viable outlet for low cost. And ultimately, people who are unhappy with your refund policy don't get to charge it back. So those are the levers. And again, we want to see this number increase. We're happy with the current customers that we are using purchase protection with. But the reason we're having this webinar here is to educate more people like you to see a wider adoption in our platform for purchase protection. All right, so let's talk about how it works. So again, it is entirely free for you to use if you've got a product within the Webconnex ecosystem, whether it's RegFox, TicketSpice, or Red Podium. It is 2 clicks to add. You just see that little menu on the right-hand side there. You hit Add Element, and you add purchase protection, and it adds it to your page. When you do that and publish, it'll be added above the billing section. I'll show you a picture of what that looks like. And that's all you need to do. So it's entirely free for you. It is easy to add. You can add to any event page. And so it is 30 seconds, and it will be the best thing you've ever done for your conversion rates, for your overall net revenue, and your margins. So what does it look like for your attendees? It's nice and simple. And so we have this nice little box here. It gives your attendees a quick glimpse that they will get a 100% refund should they be prevented from your event, from attending your event. They can see common uses here, and they see a nice nominal fee. And so this is charged separate. So they are presented with this optional enrollment option, and they pay that one small time fee, which is charged separately from your event. So when their credit card gets charged, the first flow goes to you. So if I pay $35, that $35 goes straight to you. A few second delay then, and then they pay the $298 in this example on the screen to purchase protection. They then receive an email confirmation with a code, a link that's trackable, and all the instructions they need to use in order to file a claim. Now, the variable rate here, we have a whole bunch of different kind of metrics and numbers for how we want to calculate risk. So a good average is probably about 8.5% or around there is the average. That slides up a little bit if it is a very expensive event. Say it's a $7,000, weekend retreat, which are common, and so the fee will increase there. But if the event is within a week, we also actually drop down the price, and so we make it a lot more affordable should the window before you buy is really near. So, but you can probably estimate about 8% or so in that ballpark range between the two extremes is what it is. And again, it's charged separately. And then we as purchase protection pay all of that out. Now, if there is a situation that comes and an event attendee wants to file a claim, it is really easy. They just simply use that ID that was given to them. If they lost it, they can recover it. We have none of these shenanigans where people try to make sure that nobody files a claim. We are open. We have all the information available for our team to share with them. We will go to hell and high water to help them find their details. So all the bad and negative connotations you might have of these companies who his mission is to not pay anybody, that is not us. Tristan on here is on, I'm so glad he's here because that is that smiling face that'll be greeted with people who want to work with us to resolve a dispute. And he can testify that our heart is to fill every single possible claim. So we don't have any tricks. We don't hide things. We don't do any sort of gimmicks, any of that stuff. Once the claim is received, it's usually reviewed most of the times within 24 hours, but typically we kind of recommend 48 hours. And then we ask for simple documentation to accompany their claim just to substantiate the claim to downside fraud, because that is a big part of our category. But also, more importantly, we are under rigorous yearly audits. And so we need to make sure that Tristan is not just paying out unlimited burrito funds to people for whoever he wants and there's no documentation. But Tristan's a great guy, so he'd never do that. But we want to reliably offer the services. So we do ask, because there's a lot of fraud for you guys, for us, that people substantiate it. And we can talk about how that works. But our heart and mission is always to fulfill every single claim. And we do it joyfully because we know that ultimately it's a reflection of you. You as the event producer, we are looking out for your reputation and your attendee happiness. And so we look at our service as an extension of that. Then once approved, a check is sent to the attendee for the full amount of their event purchase. And again, as I'm stating for probably the 5th time, just because I don't want you to miss it, is we pay all of those fees. And then we go into your account and we go and release that held ticket back into the sales cycle so you can resell it or to make it available back on the website, and you keep the money. So it's a win-win. You don't have to do anything, and we handle all the service, all the claims, all the payouts, all the details, all the grumpy customers, all that stuff. So we have an amazing workflow here that really benefits you, and it just works and you don't have to worry about a thing. All right, we're going to talk about what's covered here because this is going to help you understand what are the benefits to your attendees, what kinds of claims, and what kind of the population is being served in here. So I'm going to tag team this with Tristan, and he and I have so many stories that we can share, but we love to be able to see how this service really peeks into benefiting people, because there's a lot of sad things that happen. There's a lot of tough circumstances. And so what we get to see is actually stepping in and in a situation where it's really challenging, maybe a lot of heartache, a lot of pain. I mean, things like cancer and death and sudden diagnosis, like there's tough things. And it's great for us to be able to, hey, we got it, the check's going to be in the mail here shortly. And so that is a great part of us to be able to be a silver lining for somebody who is going through something unfortunate, that they then can get a full refund. And so we have amazingly nice people on our side. But let's cover what is all covered in purchase protection. So the first thing is the health and medical related events. What's covered is sudden injury, significant illness, of course, COVID-19, there's a new strain that's going around, pregnancy emergencies, emergency surgery, unplanned medical procedures. What's not covered? My Botox appointment that I scheduled 2 years in advance and then bought my ticket later. I don't have Botox, as you can clearly see, but bad hair days, I do encounter those occasionally, and appointments that are booked after the event purchase. And so there are people who might try to game the system and things like that. So we try to like avoid that. We don't want to cover that. But yeah, Tristan, why don't you speak to this one and tell us about the population that uses it and who benefits from it?
Yeah, absolutely. For the record, I do want to say I've never seen Eric with a bad hair day, but about 41% of our claims that come through fall into this category of the health and medical related events. And, they're the common things that come up, the COVID, the flu, broken bones. We had a young man at the beginning of the year who broke his arm leading up to a pole vaulting competition. And we were able to get that claim processed and refunded for them, within the day that he submitted. And then, sometimes big things just come up unexpectedly. With this past month, we had a claim from a woman whose husband was scheduled for a very invasive surgery that he wasn't going to be able to walk for a couple months after the surgery, and she just needed to be there to care for him and help him through that recovery process. And there was no way that they were going to be able to get out and go on a walking tour at this event that they had planned for the past 6 months. Purchase protection sees this wide variety of circumstances, and people are ranging from having a minor inconvenience in their day to some people who are just having the worst day of their lives. And we just want to be able to come in and partner with them and give them the care and the respect that they deserve.
Awesome. Second most common is employment-related events, and this is sudden request to work, new work requirements, legal obligations, military essential workers. What we don't cover, a common one might be someone who's self-employed and all of a sudden they get like a new lucrative gig that they want to take instead, or maybe they just feel overwhelmed or too busy at work. We try not to have that be covered in our terms, but employment-related is the second most common. Go ahead, Tristan.
Yeah, so about 10% of our claims fall into this category, and jobs can be unpredictable. This week, we had claims from firefighters who were called in to help with some of the Northern California fires, and they're dropping everything so that they can mobilize and protect people's communities and help them out. And just the nature of their job has them required to travel. We also want to protect people that suddenly they just get scheduled on their day off. They may not have consistent work on Saturdays, and all of a sudden their boss says, "Hey, you're working this Saturday. You're going to be there." That's going to be approved by purchase protection. And similarly, just yesterday I was processing somebody for their PTO lined up. They had done everything right. They let their boss know that they needed to be out of office, and they found out the day before, "Hey, somebody called out. We have to have you here. We're going to have to cancel that PTO," and they weren't able to make their event.
The third one, which ties the employment one, is transportation failure. And this is more common than I actually would have imagined before. But when your car breaks down, public transportation failure, flight cancellation or major delay, maybe miss your connection, you can't arrive for the event date. What's not covered, poor planning, traffic delays, like you really didn't realize the 405 in LA was going to be busy. We occasionally will receive people who are just unhappy the price of gas or an expensive airline ticket. And so we try not to cover those. Those are hard to screen for. But go ahead and add some more to that, Tristan.
Yeah, car trouble happens. It comes up. Accidents, flat tires, even if you're not involved in the accident, if something happens on the road in front of you and now you're stuck in traffic for a couple hours trying to get to the event and you're just not going to make your scheduled time. With transportation events, we saw a person trying to get to Vermont for a scheduled ski trip that they had, and their plane came in late. They missed their connecting flight. They tried to book another flight, and the next available one would have had them landing in the state well after their scheduled time started.
Next is weather-related events, and these would cover road closures, weather when it renders modes of transportation inoperable. What's not covered is, and we'll talk about some gray areas here in a second, but just like a little drizzle, but the event's still going on, and making the event experience unpleasant. If the event is still happening, we don't cover if it might be unpleasant for someone to enjoy.
Yeah, this last year we also saw a pretty heavy hurricane season. Weather-related events are about 10% of our incoming claims, and when travel advisories come in to tell you, "Hey, you need to be staying home and you need to stay safe," you need to stay home and stay safe. Those claims are all approved. We had a particular man in the hurricane season last year who was really only a couple miles away from the event he was trying to get to, but there was a river between him and the event, and it had been flooded. And the next crossing was so far away, there was just no feasible way for him to get across and get there. So we were able to get that one approved as well.
Next, probably the most unfortunate one is the death of an attendee, spouse, immediate family member. What's not covered is maybe somebody who died before your event purchase, like by several months or a year. This is one where we'll see some people trying to really push some boundaries here with some fraud, but this one's really makes us sad because obviously this is significant loss to our attendees. But go ahead, Tristan.
Yeah, these are about 5% of the claims that we see. It's genuinely, it's the people dealing with the worst things possible in their life. Going through the grieving process, having a memorial service, having a person die suddenly, it's world shattering. And even beyond that, there's just a lot to take care of logistically when you lose a loved one, from both a personal perspective and, you know, dealing with an estate perspective. And we really want to be able to just, you know, easily get these approved for people as soon as they come through. Yeah.
And one recent that we've been seeing that we've been approving is death of a pet, and that's a family member as well. And so we try to be careful about going too far outside our terms, but we always try to look at the humanity of the situation. And so this is a common one where if it comes in, we look at the situation and we will apply our best judgment and compassion, but the situation, and approve it as well. Next is emergency events crimes. You want to think about maybe crime against you, spouse, family member, home emergencies such as structural damage, leak, fire, burglary. What's not covered? Hey, my buddy, you know, an emergency, you know, in the next state, and I really feel bad for him. Or I'm worried that we might have an emergency. Those are things that we typically are unable to cover. But go ahead and elaborate some further, Tristan.
Yeah, we had a claim recently, 2 days before their event, a heavy storm came through and knocked down a tree onto somebody's home. It was still raining, and the water was getting into their attic, and, you know, flooding their family mementos and their keepsakes that they keep up there. They're trying to work with contractors to get this fixed while the water's still coming in. And there's just so much to deal with on that. Similarly, we see a lot of, you know, flooded basements or a water heater breaks, and it's just things that really require immediate attention.
Awesome. We'll kind of push this one pretty quickly, but about 1% is legal obligations. And so this might be jury duty, subpoena, summons. Not covered is if you already had jury duty before you bought your event purchase, for example. Also being placed in custody or jail is typically something we don't cover, but common ones might be attorneys, professionals, call to testify, depositions, by the nature of your obligation for your job. Then we have this new, or not new category, we have this other category, it's literally called other, where it's unforeseen circumstances. And this is a bigger area for where people are asking for a unique situation. So what's covered is, it kind of depends. It's all going to be reviewed by our team on the circumstances and the situation. And so we try to apply empathy, understanding, and compassion for all these circumstances, knowing that the terms can't provide for every circumstance under the sun, and you'd be amazed at some of the things that we hear. What's not covered, again, fraud, event cancellation, or unhappy with the overall event experience. And so we get about 21% claims in this where people have unique situations, or they might just be inquiring, like, hey, would you make an exception for this? Here's my situation. And so we get a handful of people who want to inquire about our service if it applies there. So here is what you can say purchase protection won't apply. So some common things that we might get would be, again, change of mind, like I wanted to go, but now I don't want to. And we're exploring this kind of cancel for any reason, extension of purchase protection. But as of now, we won't cover 100% of people in these categories on the left, what would be change of mind, I'm unhappy, the sound was too loud, the food was too spicy, those kinds of things. Obviously, we mentioned pre-planned events that conflict, lateness, I didn't show up, partial attendance, like I didn't attend for the second day of a 2-day event, the event canceled by event organizer, and then obviously fake and fraudulent documentation, and that does happen, unfortunately. If someone does attend the event on, like I say, a 2-day event, and something happens either at the event or in the course of their life and they can't make it the second time, we again will consider that. Sometimes we'll do partial refunds. We'll look at it with some reasonable eyes on it. Some things that we will consider, things like financial hardship, childcare conflicts, mental health issues, fears and anxieties, pet or animal matters, and relationship matters. There's been times where like, hey, I bought this ticket with my fiance and she called off the wedding and I kind of don't want to go to the concert with her. You know, we try to look at those again, things that we can't put into our terms of service, but we will review these. And so we will make determinations with these people and say, hey, this is, you know, we really understand, man, this is really hard, or we understand your situation here. What we'll often do in these situations is we'll hold these until we receive all the other valid claims, and we'll make judgment calls on these. And between us on this webinar, we fulfill a lot of these. It's really hard to standardize for every single childcare conflict, but those are real things that really matter. I have 2 young kids, and so we get that. So we do this on a case-by-case basis, but we try to give people some sort of movement. And if it's outside our terms, sometimes we'll say, hey, we can't really cover all of this, but we can cover half of it, or we can do something else that helps to do something for them. Our intent is always to do something for them or help them escalate to find a resolution at all times. Anything you want to add to that, Tristan, on those kind of gray areas and things we consider outside our terms?
Yeah, I think you hit it really well, but our heart really is to make these exceptions when we can. We understand that, you know, life is unpredictable and things just happen. And we want to be able to meet people, and really we don't want to view them as, you know, claims and numbers that are coming up. These are people who are dealing with real life experiences.
Awesome. All right, success rate. We on the aggregate see upwards about 86% of, talk about approval from our end. So 76%, it all went through and they were approved. Another 10% is people who are approved, but is waiting on additional documentation or additional clarification. So about 86% roughly is going to be, from our position and standpoint, the success rate of a given claim. The remaining 14% is going to either be fraud, it's going to be non-response, or it's going to be wildly outside of our terms. And again, as you saw from all of our gray areas we cover and all the things, it's got to be really, really outside of our terms to not approve, but very high success rate for our individuals. Anything you want to add there to that, Tristan?
Yeah, I think the majority of these claims that we see come through are really easy to approve and process. But I also want to highlight, you know, similar to what Eric was saying before, we really want to get these processed, and we don't just send them one message and then close it out and say, well, they didn't get back to us. We're proactive in our responses. When we send somebody a follow-up message, we're going to tell them exactly what we need from them. We're going to let them know, like, hey, if this is a unique circumstance, we can be flexible and we want to work with you for whatever documentation you have. And also, if we don't hear back from them, we're going to send them another email. We're going to send them another email, and then we're going to let them know, hey, we haven't heard from you, but if you have anything, please let us know. We want to give them every opportunity to get that claim processed.
Excellent. All right. Reasons for denial would be wildly outside our terms, fraudulent submissions, non-responses, and then gray areas. And again, we take those gray areas and also reconsider maybe towards the end of the event and looked at how we can accommodate those. We also, you know, put in writing, you know, a certain period of time where you need to submit, but we also apply a lot of compassion and understanding in those situations as well. Say if you had a family member die, an event occurred, and now you're getting back to us, you know, a week or 2 or more later, like we'll look at that and say, obviously, that is a life-altering circumstance, and we totally get it. So we will look at all the situations and not try to, again, rule by the letter of the law here. Our goal is to apply the best standards we can, but also be really compassionate and be as generous as humanly possible while still being able to offer the service. All right, ultimately, for you guys, just to wrap up purchase protection here before one little addendum here to the presentation is, again, it's zero cost for you. A reminder that 100% of the refunds are paid out by us, not you. This is meeting a huge consumer demand for purchase protection like services. They see it everywhere else. They're buying it everywhere else. It's really going to help your event increase that overall conversion rate and boost your revenue. Helps you enforce a legitimate no refund policy because there is an option for attendees to utilize. It's going to nearly eliminate unnecessary refunds from people who just have maybe these circumstances that are going to fill your inbox and pull your heartstrings. We can do all that for you. It's going to reduce the chargebacks, given that they have an outlet should they be concerned. Again, your improved net revenue. You get a double sell the same spot, which is pretty sweet. You get amazing full service customer support from Tristan and a bunch of other people that are not on this call. They are really awesome. Your overall event profitability for the margins increase, and you have ultimately happy attendees, and we do all that for you. And it is just a no-brainer for those. We have one more thing here to share, and then we will let you guys go if you want, or you can ask questions. But we have a service we've been offering quietly for about 1 year, and it is called chargeback protection. You can see we have a little theme in how we name things. And this is only for people who are processing on our payment processing network called Webconnex Payments. If you know our story, we spent about 2 years building our own payments infrastructure so that we could better address events and how they do payments and all the workflows and all the things within the payment processing world to couple software and payments together and have more control. And just frankly, the customer service and payment processing like rivals the IRS. It is really, really poor. But with us, we want to bring the customer service in. So people on this call are the same people on the same office and team that are handling the payment related customer service questions. So we brought all the customer service in-house, and then we have a lot of say and control in the technology and all the different things that go with fraud prevention. And we've done a lot of great things that just have not been possible in the payment processing. But one of them is that we have this crusade against event fraud and event losses. And so we are seeing really miserable human beings take advantage of great events like you. And so we are seeing a pretty large amount of chargebacks, and they come from fraud. They come to no-shows the event. The most miserable human beings are people who attend the event and then still issue a chargeback. And then there's also people who might have been on a group order. 2 of the people went, but 2 didn't, and they want to have a refund for it, so they don't get it. And so this is a 1% optional fee that can go, it gets passed on to the buyers, and that is what chargeback protection does. And then here is what you get, is that you, for 1% passed on to your buyers, you will never lose a penny to a single chargeback ever again. And our team fights them on your behalf. So without chargeback protection, you have the immediate loss of the event purchase plus typically a $15, sometimes $25 fee charged by the credit card processor. And this is, if you're not on Webconnex Payments, like what they'll do is they'll send you like a fax or a letter in the mail. You get this like letter in the mail and say, hey, you had a chargeback. You've got 48 hours to respond. And you're like, look at the date. And it's like, well, that 48 hours expired like 24 hours ago. And their notifications don't even match up. And so you're at this total loss. In a situation where you hand them all yourself, you have to gather all the documentation. You have to do everything. And even if you do all of that, you still probably only have about a 20% win rate average. And I've been talking to some different events, and they're losing tens of thousands of dollars from chargebacks, and they're just like, there has to be a better way. So this is our service that is privately available. We're gonna have someone drop it in the chat. If you want to use this, you can apply for it. We're taking interested parties into it now. But with it, you never lose a single penny to chargebacks again. We pay all the chargebacks, and we pay the chargeback fees directly. You set it, forget it, and you never even know what happens. And so then our team is using technology. We're going to go work on find the chargebacks. We have a really high justice meter. We're like, hey, here's the the proof that they attended your event. We do all that stuff, and you never need to worry about it at all again. So someone's going to drop that in the chat there. So purchase protection and chargeback protection, 2 things hand in hand that go great. Our ultimate goal is making sure as much money stays in your pocket as long as possible, as much as possible. And that's a combination of service and technology. And so we're delighted to offer to anybody who wants here on the call. So with that, we can, if you need to jump off, go for it. I'm happy to take some questions. And I see Cliff has got a question. So I'm not sure, Macy, if Cliff can unmute and ask, but let's see here.
We were able to answer his question in the chat as well. Cliff, if you still have a question, let us know and raise that hand again. Oh, there it is. Let me see if I can unmute him. Allowed to talk. There you are.
Let's go, Clifford.
Can you unmute there? Do you see it?
Unmute. Can you hear me now?
There he is.
Yeah, we got you. Hey, Clifford.
Okay, so I'm in Canada. I really want these services in Canada. When are you going to do this for us?
Oh man. Okay, so we're working on it. So Quebec makes it really hard for us to offer in Canada. Unfortunately, they have certain laws around offering it dual in French, and I know Tristan's been on Duolingo a lot, but he's not quite there in his French proficiency. So Quebec has some
I know
language
that
laws. They're also
they're a problem. Just don't deal with them. Deal with every province but them.
I know. So we're looking at it. So we're looking at standing it up in I think Vancouver, and so we'll be able to offer to certain provinces. Quebec also has.
We're in Calgary.
Okay. That should still be okay, but we need to get a domicile, kind of a location, in a banking institution in Canada because they don't want it across the lines. So we're working on that. I probably would guess it's sometime next year because we're moving harder after that because some great Canadian friends like you have been wanting it. So we're working on it, but there are some issues there. So we'll probably exempt Quebec. And then there are different provinces have different laws associated with it. So they have different maybe amounts on reserves and holds and bonds and things like that. So how they do it in Canada or how they provision for it is a little bit different than the States. The States has a lot more flexibility. We can offer it as a service and not have to put up extraneous bonds and things like that. But we are audited every year. All our financials are rigorously scrutinized. So, but Canada makes it a little bit different, but we hope to have that by next year. A great question. We'll do our best. Thanks, Clifford. I see a question from Pamela on the typical purchase protection price. A good average is going to be about 8.5%, and that is going to be a good average. Now, again, it's dynamic. So if it's really expensive, it's going to screen up a little bit, probably a couple percentage points. I don't know what the exact numbers are. There's a little bit of a science to it. And then if it's really close to like the week of the event or even a few days, we drop the price dramatically too. So there's a big range there, and it looks to understand the nature of the event, the price, and how far away the event date is. But for just simple averages, you can probably expect about 8.5%. Again, just doesn't. There's multiple factors that will price it for the attendee in real time. Okay, so Stacy's asking if this is offered and our client doesn't take it, are we protected to the chargeback? Maybe Stacy, could you unmute and ask and just elaborate a little bit further?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we got you. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so I teach CPR classes and first aid, and that's what I use the platform for, right? To sell my tickets or the seats for the class. If I and my classes are only, like $100 a person, so it's not, we're not talking thousands of dollars here. But if I were to offer, this as a part of, the ticket sales, and they don't take it, and then they come back and say, well, I wasn't happy with what transpired in the class or something, but there's a certification involved in, I'm sure I could fight it, but it is, if they don't take it, am I protected if they try to go back and do a chargeback? Or
with the chargeback protection service, you're protected from chargebacks of any kind. So the purchase protection offers people this, hey, if I'm used to and I like this, it's for them. You still will probably receive, in that situation described, if someone's really unhappy, didn't buy purchase protection, and they still want to charge it back. The credit card laws say to give that person their money back, and you have to fight to go get it back. You still can probably win that by saying, hey, we had to publish a refund policy. We offered purchase protection. We offered all these things. We were really clear on that. The things you need to do is, one, you have to respond quickly and sufficiently and detail these things, and you will have probably a good chance at winning that chargeback dispute itself, but it's a total pain in the rear. So if that's not worth it to you, that chargeback protection service is a great one, because if you receive a chargeback, you won't even know. Our team will fight it and handle it all for you, and you have completely downside it for you on that.
I'm knock on wood, I've never had that. The only thing that I've ever had is where a student registered for a class and then realized I I can't do it, I refund it, even though we have a no refund policy, because nothing has left me. I mean, I haven't sent a link out. I haven't done anything for them. So I will cancel and refund 100%. I'm fine with that.
Yep.
It's those that you know, you kind of start the class and then all of a sudden they want a refund. It's like, yeah, no, I can't do that. So
right.
all right. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Macy, any other questions we should oh, Pamela? Pamela, let's go. Why don't you join? This is fun. I like hearing real voices. So Pamela, why don't you come to the stage, unmute. Let us hear your awesome voice.
There you go.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Okay, first of all, sorry for blowing up your Q&A with all my questions.
It's great.
It's a bad habit of mine. One that I didn't put in there that came to mind was if you have the multi-registrant feature turned on for your Regbox event, when you're offered purchase protection, is it for that entire group, or is it like you can select it per individual?
Great question. And thank you for being a Regfox customer. It is selective. So you could choose for certain attendees and not others. My daughter, very responsible. My son, not so much. So I might want to add it to my son, but not my daughter. So it is individually tied to each registrant. So a person does not have to one and all, you know, cover the entire one. So they can selectively add it on there. So it's up to the buyer's discretion if they want, given the certain circumstances. And in a multi-reg situation too, or that group registration, sometimes you have to register the parents just in order to register the kids. And the parents are like, I'm not going, like I want it for my kid. And so we've accommodated all those workflows for you.
Okay, great. And this one, I did ask in the chat, but I just want to make sure that I understood the answer fully. I asked about events where we have both international and US attendees. If we turn it on for that, my understanding is that the system is smart enough to, if it's a billing address outside of the US, it just won't offer it simply. But if it's within the US, it'll offer it still to those attendees. So some of them will get offered it and some will not. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. And some of that has to do with the Canadian laws. We had it available for a little while until people were attending some really expensive international events. And they said, well, I forgot to get my passport. And it was like a $4,000 claim. And you're like, ah. So, you know, we're most of it is protecting the Canada relationship because we want to operate within the bounds of what is legal and we don't get in trouble with our northern friends. So a lot of it's aimed at that. And then the other parts of it is that international travel poses a whole new set of risks from flights and passports and immigration control and things like that. So right now we're not able to do that, but we are exploring it, and you know, we can certainly maybe give another look on your behalf if that's a big customer segment for you. Are they in Canada, or where would they be coming from? Would they be overseas or other places?
Yeah, overseas. Every 3 years we host more of a global event, so they're coming from all corners of the world. But I guess what I mainly wanted to verify was that the system's smart enough to kind of navigate through that without anything falling onto us.
Yep, it is. Yep, it's if they choose enter in a non-US billing address, that's kind of our way to enforce it, and it'll turn purchase protection to no. It'll go from yes to no and remove it, so they won't pay for it accidentally. Maybe something we could explore if it's of interest to you and interest, and we can follow this up, is we could look at maybe a waiver to this, to if the event is amicable to it and they're paying you in the US and they're coming and it's not Quebec, we might be able to explore turn it on for certain situations or certain customers for that if you really want. And again, we're going to try to move into more compliance, more countries, but you being in the US makes it a lot easier. What's harder is when the event's going to Canadian domiciled organizations or ones in Europe and things like that, because you have to settle the money in those places and the regulators want to know you're there. But if you're in the US, we can certainly try to explore maybe a little workaround for you if that is meaningful to you.
Okay, good to know. Thanks so much.
Of course. Thanks, Pamela. Howard, let's hear you. Welcome to the Zoom. Unmute. Great to hear from you.
Yes, thank you. Quick question. You had mentioned that it helps on conversion rate when it comes to ticket sales. What will the customer see when purchasing their ticket when the actual protection option comes up after they purchase their ticket?
They will, so we don't interfere with your receipt.
Uh-huh.
So your receipt is going to look exactly as it normally would, and they will see a purchase protection. Yes, they'll see an indicator on the receipt, because we don't want to confuse what they just bought. Like, the most important thing is them buying entrance to your event. So we have a very light footprint, just like a small indicator that they enrolled in purchase protection. They will concurrently receive a separate email from us that says, hey, congratulations, your event purchase. Here's a summary. Here's what you paid. Here's your tracking number. Here's where to create a claim. Here's our email address. And we provide a secondary follow-up to them that has all that information that makes it nice and easy for them to know. So we don't want to confuse what the main reason what they came there for. They're really your customer, not our customer, first and foremost. And so we do send them that link. And if they ever lose that, they can contact us through email, carrier pigeon, come to our office, wherever they want. And we have a forgot confirmation number on purchase protection as well, all clear on there. So, but yeah, on the confirmation page, however you design it, will be what they see, and then they have like just a small indicator in their summary, just like they would see from, my registration fees, costs, t-shirts, sessions, upgrades, add-ons, and then they'll see purchase protection. It'll be indicated on the receipt, and it's also available in your reports and your record as well that they bought it as well.
Right, you're mentioning the receipt. What I'm saying is on the actual ticket order page, would we just put that something in the comments that says ticket protection is available after purchase, something like that?
It's not available after purchase. It's available only during purchase. I shared a screenshot here. Let me reshare and just show you.
I'm sorry, I may have missed that.
No problem. No problem at all. So yeah, so when you add it, and I might actually, let's see here. Do I have a page that has it in my other screen here? I don't. Okay, but it looks like this. So your ticketing page, maybe your last option, if you can see my mouse is up here, and they see a little box here that just says purchase protection. They can choose yes or no, and then the billing is right below that. Yeah, I wonder.
And what's the approximate purchase protection fee for a $25 ticket?
On $25, it would probably be $25 would probably be this exact example, probably less than that, probably like $2.
$2 to $3, okay.
Yeah. Here's a Dunder Mifflin example. And I'm using, this is a really expensive one. So here's this. So here's your registration page. As you scroll down, then you'll see something like this. So you can then choose it. And this will calculate based on all their selections. It'll remove, if they make like a donation amount, we're not going to cover and refund the donation. We expect people to understand that's not part of an event purchase. So we would, in this example, if I entered the event or purchase for the event, added a charitable donation of say $50, we would refund the event fees directly, but not the charitable donation. You get to keep that, or if they want to recover it from you, we'll let you guys kind of have that awkward conversation yourselves.
Yeah.
And then you can see just then billing information is right here.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks. And there's still a bunch of you guys still here. I don't know what you're still doing. Apparently I need a radio talk show. This is fun taking questions live, but unless there's anything else, I think we can end there. You guys have been great. I want to always end things in a timely manner. So if there's any questions, you can email our team. Be sure to check out chargeback protection as well. Oh, Tess, I don't want to forget you. Tess, what do you got? Maybe come to the stage and ask. We'll save.
You raised your hand. I can find you. Let's see here.
Tess, where'd you go? Did I see Tess or Jess? Sorry, my window just disappeared. Oh, okay. Jess Taylor. Sorry.
There you go.
Are you notified when someone cancels? I think I saw it. We do. What do we do there, Tristan? Do we notify the event, or we do a based upon request?
Typically, we don't automatically notify the event on a cancellation or an approval of a purchase protection. We'll just add that back into the stock. I know there's some events that have reached out to us because they have really specific use cases, and we can kind of set up a custom flow on a case-by-case basis for if an event needs, tickets maybe not canceled and added into the stock. But in general, we don't send a confirmation to the event organizer upon approval.
And that's typically based on the events wanting just us to do it and just handle it. So our service exists to take all this burden, but if that is a desire of you, we can certainly explore how to work that through. We do send the cancellation emails when we cancel a given buyer, and if that's a workflow we need to accommodate, we can certainly explore it if you like. And then also, if you ever receive a attendee who contacts you, and you are always welcome to forward them to us, or you want us, maybe we took a stance that it was too far outside the terms and you want us to reconsider, we'll always have a reconsideration process too. So this happens, and it's written to our terms. People can ask for additional review. So you are always welcome to interface with us and let us know if there's a given customer that you really like. We had somebody who spent a lot of money on an event. They were elderly, and just even just like the thought of going to a website and submitting a form was too much. And so they phone called our event organizer and said, "Here's what's going on." The event organizer called us, and we filed it for them because we're nice people, and we're just like, "Hey, we're going to do it for you. We get it." The web can be intimidating for certain people, and so we're happy to do that. So everything that we want to do, we always want to go above and beyond to help people. So, and yes, Jess, you are correct. If someone, if they have a claim, we cancel them, you keep the money, we pay out their refund. Yes. So any cancellations of valid claims, we cancel their ticket, you keep their original purchase money, and then we, from our own bank account, pay them out directly. So you get to keep their money, inventories replenish for their ticket order, and we pay them out themselves. And we used to have we used to like sign all the checks individually with a pen and ink, and the stacks that were there. I think Tristan was developing carpal tunnel from it all. So yeah, we now have a nice batch automated process, and we're able to do it in mass. So yeah, it's a great deal. And yes, it is crazy. It is that good because your attendees love it. You keep the money, and so that is why we have the service, and it works very well. So, all right, last chance. Anybody have another question? Quickly get in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to end the Zoom. Thank you all for being here. Man, we really enjoy getting to show the service, get to introduce some of the names and faces, talk about it. And if there's any questions, you guys know where to reach us. We really appreciate you being here. Thanks for setting up, Macy, Tristan, Joe, Maddie, Philip. Thank you guys all, and we'll see you on a future webinar. Thank you guys.